All right, greetings. Hope I find you well. Today we am going to teach you the golden rules for sketching hyperbolas of the form y is equals to a over x plus p plus q. So I'm just gonna touch on the golden rules that you need. All right, so the first thing that you need is the shape. You need to determine the shape. You need to determine the shape. So how do we determine the shape? By looking at A. So we need to look at A. A gives us the shape. Okay, this A here gives us the shape. So if that A is greater than 0, this is going to be the shape. These dotted lines, they are asymptotes. Asymptotes are not lines of symmetry. Okay, they are not lines of symmetry. All right, so the shape will be like this. That is, if A is greater than 0, and when A is less than 0, the shape will be like this. These dotted lines are my asymptotes, okay? Yeah, these are my asymptotes. And I said asymptotes are not the same as lines of symmetry. All right, so the shape. A gives us the shape. A gives us the shape. All right. So after we have found our shape, it takes us to step number two. Step number two. So the step number two are to find the asymptotes. So the dotted lines, they represent the asymptotes. So the step two will be for us to write down the asymptotes. Will be to write down the asymptotes and then draw them on the set of axes. So how do we write down the asymptote? X plus p here. Okay? So the x plus p that you are seeing there, x plus p. If I say is equal to 0 and create an equation, it's going to then give me the x value, right? So x is going to be negative p. Okay, so this gives me the vertical asymptote. This gives me the vertical asymptote. All right. Then how then do I get the horizontal asymptote? It's super easy. I look at Q here. Okay, I look at Q. I look at Q. So Q is equal to Y, or Y is equal to Q. Y is equal to Q. And then the Y is equal to Q will give me the horizontal asymptote. Will give me the horizontal asymptote. Okay? And then after that, well, I then move on to step number step number 3, which is to find my y-intercept. And remember y-intercept, x is equal to 0. Then I also go to step 4, which will be to find the x-intercept if they exist. If they exist. If they exist. And x-intercept, y is equal to 0. And then the last step, of course, will be to draw the newly formed graph. Yeah, will be to draw the newly formed graph. Make sure that each branch has at least one point. At least one point. Then I am done. So these are golden rules for sketching a hyperbola. If you follow these steps, definitely you will get your answers, your graph right. Okay, so let's quickly just look at some examples. So we want to sketch the graph of f of x is equal to 2 over x minus 2 plus 1. Okay, so I said A gives us the shape, right? So this 2 here is my A. All right, so A is equal to 2 and this 2 is greater than 0. So therefore, my shape is going to be looking like that. First, I have to draw my asymptotes, the horizontal and the vertical asymptotes. So the shape is going to look like that. That will be the first step. So I'm going to say step number 1. Then step number 2 is to find my asymptotes. I need to find my asymptotes. Okay, so I can start maybe by the vertical asymptote, which is I'm gonna just say VA, which is standing for vertical asymptote. So remember I said this x minus 2 will give me the vertical asymptote. So I'm just going to take it as it is, x minus 2, and then equate it to 0. Then I take this 2 to the other side. Therefore, x is going to be equal to 2. So this x is equal to 2 is going to be my vertical asymptote. Then now I go on to find my horizontal asymptote. How do I find my horizontal asymptote? I look at Q and 1 is representing Q. So therefore, y is equal to 1. All right, so therefore y is equal to 1 is going to be my um, horizontal asymptote. Okay, then after that, I'm finding my y-intercept, which is my step number 3, the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So remember y-intercept, x is equal to 0. Y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So where there is x in the original equation, I am going to put 0. So here I put 0 and then minus 2 there plus 1. Okay, so you can see that therefore y is gonna be equal to 0. That's my y-intercept. Step number 4. Step number 4, I'm finding my x-intercept. Finding my x-intercept. So x-intercept y is equal to 0. So in the place of y, I'm gonna put 0. So I'm gonna put 0 there, and 0 is equal to 2 over x minus 2 plus 1. Okay, if I solve it, you realize I'm gonna get x is equal to 0. Okay, so I am done. I am done. I'm done. I'm done. Maybe step 5, obviously, is going to be to draw the newly formed graph. Okay, but like I said, we need to determine at least one or 2 points that lies on one of the branches. In this case, I'm going to determine one point that is going to lie on the right branch. So I'm going to choose x is equal to 4. X is equal to 4. So therefore, Y will be equal to 2. I'm just going to sub into the original equation. Where there is x, I'm going to put 4, then plus 1. So you can see there my answer, my y is going to be 2. So the point that I'm going to put on the right branch is going to be 4 and 2. Okay, then after that, I draw. That's as simple as it is. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.